Continuing coverage of the war with Iran now as we look live at Beirut in Lebanon, where strikes are going on right now. The United States says that the war is accelerating, not decelerating, in fact, spreading as we speak.
Overnight, we got the names and photos of the other 2 U.S. service members killed during counterattacks over the weekend. On the left, Major Jeffrey O'Brien of Iowa, and on the right, Chief Warrant Officer Robert Marzan of California. Those 2 U.S. Army Reserve soldiers were killed, as well as Captain Cody Cork, Sergeant Declan Cody, Sergeant First Class Nicole Amore, and Sergeant First Class Noah Techins. All 6 were killed when an Iranian strike hit a tactical operations center in Kuwait. Meantime, Iran is warning that the U.S. will bitterly regret sinking one of its warships as the conflict in the Middle East shows no signs of letting up.
And as Jared Hill reports, innocent people are getting caught in the crossfire.
Plumes of smoke above Tehran as the U.S. and Israel continue devastating airstrikes on Iran. In Tel Aviv, sirens and explosions blared. Israel says its defense forces intercepted a new wave of Iranian missiles. The fallout from the fighting is spreading throughout the Middle East. This man says they pay the price for something they didn't do after a downed Iranian drone shattered homes in his neighborhood in Iraq, just west of Iran. Yesterday, Turkey, a NATO nation, said that NATO had destroyed an Iranian missile headed for its airspace, though Iran denies firing missiles at Turkey.
We're doing very well on the war front, to put it mildly.
In Washington, President Trump projected optimism after the Pentagon said its war on Iran is accelerating.
We will now begin to expand inland, striking progressively deeper into Iranian territory.
The Defense Department also released this footage of the U.S. submarine torpedo strike that sank an Iranian warship near Sri Lanka, killing dozens.
We are punching them while they're down.
Iran called the sinking an atrocity and warns the U.S. will bitterly regret it.
The motion to discharge is not approved.
Wednesday, the Senate rejected a war powers resolution that would have required the Trump administration to get congressional approval to continue military operations in Iran.
This widening war, I fear, puts us on the precipice of American troops on the ground.
A similar bill in the House is also projected to face an uphill battle. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Prices at the pump are going up as well. Overnight, the national average jumped to $3.25 a gallon. That's according to AAA. Now, here in Pennsylvania, the average is $3.30, and it's even higher in the Pittsburgh area, hovering around $3.43 a gallon. But cost concerns go far beyond just the price of gasoline.
Yeah, how long this war goes on could determine which items get more expensive. Jessica Riley is joining us live with a look at how an extended conflict could impact you and your wallet. Good morning to you, Jessica.
Good morning, David and Erica. Yeah, we're really seeing these concerns go far beyond the pump right now. That global supply chain is starting to be impacted by this conflict in Iran, which could really drive up the prices of things. And we're already seeing some things going up. So take a look at your screen right now. Some of those disruptions that we're seeing for distributions are already prescription drugs, computer chips, batteries, and fertilizer. Some of those things already costing a good amount of money. Cargo ships are now stuck in the Gulf or taking a much longer detour around the southern tip of Africa. Data from shipping trackers show about 3,200 and roughly 4% of the world's shipping capacity are currently idle inside the Persian Gulf. Another 500 ships are waiting just outside of that region. And at the same time, planes carrying air cargo out of the Middle East are grounded. Those goods that rely on global shipping could all be affected if cargo ships have to take longer and more expensive routes. Experts say the longer this war drags on, it'll get worse.
If instead of 4 weeks, we're talking about 4 months or longer, very different discussion. So duration is key to economic impact.
Companies may also have to ship more for shipping air cargo, which costs significantly more, and those costs can eventually get passed down to consumers, which we've seen in the past few years with things. And the longer this takes, it's more likely that here in America that we, as consumers, are really going to see those prices start impacting not only these items that I mentioned, but a lot more things. Reporting live on the North Shore this morning, Jessica Riley, back to you.